Okay, watcher, bash plate, part 17. Remember the bash plate? Now, that's how it looks now. And that's 5 coats, if you remember, of alternate black and silver, and we're going to block sand, or I'm going to block sand the front of that today, nothing more, just to get it down to a level. I want to make it fully cured, as I said before. If I'm going to put plastic dip on it, and I'm still not sure whether I will or not, I've got to test it in a day or so on a big ride up to the Ace Caf and sort of 300-mile round trip on the bash plate of the Tiger, and we'll see how it fares. Initial kind of thoughts are that the finish is it's quite rubbery. It's kind of like the surface of tyres, so I'm going to need that kind of the gloss they do that goes over the top, or glossifier, which goes over the top and makes it more like a vinyl than less like a rubber. And the other alternative, of course, if it doesn't work, is vinyl. Just ordinary wrapping vinyl. You can get that. You just buy it, and because it's nice flat surface, that will wrap quite nicely in vinyl, and it will be very protective, and you can get any colour, and it's nice and gloss. So there's another option too. But for now, I'm just going to block sand that, get some of them ripples out. Won't get it absolutely flat, I really won't, but it will be a lot better than that. So let's set everything up, get the block ready, get the sanding stuff ready, and do some block sanding. Right, just setting up the paper. I've got some 240, so I'm going to 4 goes with that, then some 320, then some 400, and that should get me down to quite a nice finish. And at each sheet I get 4 bits, so plenty of paper, plenty of materials. And somebody asked what do you mean by block sanding? Well, all it is, it's sanding on a block. Now I'm using this old Strepsils tin, which I like because the bottom, which is going to be the sanding face, is slightly ellipsed, very, very slightly. So when it's under pressure, it has some give, so it's not too aggressive, but when it gives, it goes flat. And when it's not given, it's kind of ellipsed. So it's kind of got a little bit of a shock absorber to it, which I prefer to a wooden block. And all I do is I rub it around like that, and then you get a nice flat surface, and therefore it takes off the peaks and doesn't just sand. If you sand with your hand, he said rhymingly, you sand like that, then your hand is soft and it gives, and it ends up going over the ripples like a tyre over a stone. So effectively all you do is you rub everything down in unison, and I need to rub the tops off, so you use a hard surface. It's as simple as that. That's what block sanding is. Okay, let's get us set up outside and get cracking. Alright, gently to start. See it coming down through the coats now. Now, let's just rinse off, show you the first initial results. There we go. And have a look. So, you can see straight away, there's 5 coats of paint, remember? So if you look at that one, there's the black, which is 1, and the silver 2, the black 3, that silver 4. So that's gone through 4 coats of paint. There's 5 altogether. There's a black coat underneath that. So when that black starts to come through, I'm on the final coat, and that is way smoother. It is as quick as that to get down through it. And I will do a few more passes with the sanding. Obviously do that bit under there. Let's see if we can't get this looking real smooth. Okay, then change to a lighter paper now. Before we do that, give you a look. Now there, as you can see, we're getting all the high spots out, and there are many, as you can see. Never apparent when you look at it in one colour. And here's a perfect example there of all 5 coats: black, silver, black, silver, black primer, and I've gone through just a tiny bit to the metal there. So that just goes to show, but that's nicely feathered, so little tiny breath of primer just to touch, spot that in, and then we'll go over the rest. No bare metal anywhere else. This is all silver paint because there's black on it and silver showing underneath. So all of this has worked quite well, and when you feel it, you couldn't feel that at all. Even these ridges that were here have been kind of padded out by layers of paint. So I'm going to get some finer paper into that, a bit finer once over, avoiding that spot, and it's ready for another coat of paint. Okay, switch to a 320 now. Just gives me a finer finish for the next coat of paint. That's it. We're done. Rinse off. Everything off. Right, finally, before we get this ready for paint now, here's a perfect example of what we started out to achieve, which is this black is 1, silver 2, black 3, silver 4, black 5 primer. Right through to the primer, but not broken the primer there. So that is absolutely the limit. But look how that's now completely flat, and the paint has acted as a complete leveler. Now obviously I can't sand on that anymore, but it's still not perfect. There still feels tiny ripples to it. So what I'm going to do is another coat of black over that and another coat of silver, just to give myself, I might even use a different colour of silver, just something that I can see as an indicator. But this needs another coat. There we go. Let's get it prepped for paint. There we are. Let's get the worst off. On the back, it's unimportant what it looks like. Doesn't matter at all. Just as long as there's plenty of material on there to protect it. Now this will be best heat dried, air dried, to make sure that all the moisture's gone. So break out the Beverly's, baby. Right, now I'm going to set up a little bit of spray area so I can lay about, I reckon, another 4 or 5 coats of paint on that, just to layer it up. I've had a little look at it. In the old stockpile here, the only thing I've got that isn't black is that wheel paint, and I'm not sure what formulation that is chemically, so wouldn't it be a shame to paint it on there to get a guide coat and then it all lifts up. You know what paint's like, it can react. So apart from plastic dip, which isn't going on there yet, I've just got black paint, so I'm just going to whack on about 5 more coats of thick black. So let's get that set up and start piling it on. Right, and do it outside because it's a nice day. Right. 10 minutes. Coat number 2. Number 3. Right, last big heavy coat. That's it, job done. Right, so there, I'll just give you a quick look at it. Now that's what you call no need for polishing. All I've done with this is, because I can lay it flat and use gravity, I can let that float out, and I've piled the paint on there. That's the kind of thickness you'd do if you're using 2-pack but not rattle can paint. If that was standing upright, it'd be pouring off the surface by now. It'd be runs and sags all over the place. But because it's completely flat, I've made sure I've even packed a little bit of kitchen paper under there to get that absolutely level flat. That will now dry in the next probably 4 or 5 days. Lots of projects with that. We've got boxfuls of bits there, boxfuls of bits there, that's the exhaust. So there's loads of stuff to come on that, and while that's being done, project after project, job after job, this can be curing until it is fully cured. Might give this a week just so that goes off, and then that's going to get a light block sand on the front again using the probably the 400. What we got left? Yeah, use the 400 grit and just get a nice flat finish on it, as flat as it can be anyway. I've got a few more cans, 3 more cans of that paint, so I will get it flat. Going to call that done. Let that float out. It won't look as lovely as that in 24 hours time. It is satin paint anyway, but there's masses on there and it's now starting to look the part. And one of the reasons I didn't fill or lead between that washer and the top surface is because, as you can see there, the paint's filling it up quite nicely. I intended to put that much on so it will fill it. Anyway, but there we are. Drying times now, can't do any more. I'm going to leave that down there overnight just to set, and then hang it up out the way and give it a week before I do anything else to it. This is the thing with rattle can paint. If that was 2-pack, that would be dry in the morning. but that's the way it goes. I haven't got a booth, I have to do it outside, because honestly, with all the stuff in here at the minute, I don't want to start painting and covering it in black dust. There we are, enough waffle, take it easy, ride safe. Thanks for watching number 17 of Project Bashblade. It's moving forward very slowly. Ride safe and I'll see you next time.